Hi there, welcome to Prime Time. I'm Paul Orford and I'm back with my good friend Richard Bartlett from Centroid. And a bit of a general subject today, Rich. It's a bit of a skill as well, I think, compared to B2C, but it's B2B sales. A maestro, I may say, of doing this for a long time. So I wanted to pluck your pearls of wisdom, so to speak, and give us some tips for like new people in there or people who are looking to brush up their skills. So how did you get into B2B essentially?
Well, it's a long story really, but I'll try and make it as short as possible. Originally, I come from a family where my old man was heavily into sales. Yeah. A lot of our family are. I remember the first ever time that I got a taste of it was when I was on holiday from school, went to his office in Alpha Tower in Birmingham, floor 20 I think it was. He was selling fax machines, and he actually, and I just went in to work with him and he put me on the phones, basically just speaking to some existing clients, sort of put me on the spot, but I did it, and I don't know, I just really, I really enjoyed it. I was 14 at the time. That's where it all started really, and then when I went to Australia, I needed a job, didn't really have any, wasn't very skillful with my hands as far as any trade or anything, so ended up getting a sales job over there, and that's really where it started. You know, I started selling residential, knocking doors in Australia as a pommie, but I got the taste for it, got the bite for it. It was really enjoyed it. And then when I came back to the UK, then got into more business to business sales, and it's as boring as that really.
But you started off with mobile phones, wasn't it? Like to companies?
back in the day, you know, when the mobile phone market was being deregulated. I mean, these are the glory days, you know. It was literally ring a business up and say, you know, that phone you're using, well, how about I give you a phone that's better than that and charge you 50% on the calls? They were like, all right. So it was, it was just taking candy from a baby, and that was 3 or 4 years that worked for, and it was great. It's the same with any emerging market. You know, if you can get ahead of the curve, you know, when a new technology comes, this is a great time to be a business development guy or a sales guy. You know, because that's when it's all good. You know, that's when it's potentially easier to sell. When you're in a saturated market, you've got to be a lot more skillful. You've got to throw a lot more numbers to actually get the deals. But that's.
All right, so we worked together, so we first met FXGM.
FXGM,
okay.
The good old days.
And then you moved on to, it's fair to say, an industry leader, Prime XM, where you really got into like the FX B2B sales.
Yeah, and absolutely. And again, that was a time when you just had bridge providers. It was a transition then to actually going into aggregation, and Prime XM with their X-Core and things like that. That was like a new emerging part of it was an existing market, but so in those days having a good product, you know, I'm not saying it was easy to sell, but certainly you know, everyone was fair game, and you were able to go in and demonstrate you had different technology, you know, which is now what I have with Centroid, you know, because things of course have moved on now, and technology providers need to deliver a lot more than just a connectivity piece and an aggregation engine, you know. They need to offer a lot more, and this is why I transitioned to Centroid, because they're sort of the technology provider of today and actually addressing a lot of the key challenges that brokers face today. You expect as a broker that you're going to have low latency and reliable connectivity now from any technology provider, you know. So then you've got to step up and actually offer a lot more different tools to help improve the efficiency and the profitability potentially of brokers, and make their lives perhaps easier, give them access to data that they may not have before, this kind of thing. So we've moved on again, sort of thing now.
So with this, like, not just your career, but I think anyone who's doing B2B as well, I think you should really check the product that you're working for, because let's face it, if you're working for a product which is no good to man nor beast, you're going to struggle.
With the best will in the world, I mean, you could be a 20-year-old, you know, young dumb and run up for it sort of thing, and you can potentially sell anything, but the key thing here is if you really believe that the product firstly you believe in the product you've got, and that it is beneficial to the people you're selling it to. It gives you so much more conviction when you're actually presenting it, and this is why it's very important. You know, if you want longevity in a business to business role, you've got to be representing a product that you believe in first and foremost, because then it keeps you you're motivated to get out there, and also when, like I say, when you present it to people, they see the conviction. If you've sort of got a product that you know has holes in it, it doesn't matter how good you are and crafty you are, people pick up when you speak to them, certainly in face-to-face sales. They pick up that maybe you're hiding something. It doesn't matter how good you are. So therefore, if you totally believe in it and it is just a genuine good product that will add value, you don't need to use any magic tricks. You just sell it honestly, you can be yourself, and people buy into that, and feel comfortable, and it's easy for them to trust you and believe what you're saying is true. So that is very important.
Yeah, well, I think if you can get them as far as having a good chat to find out what they need and what they want, and get that demo in their hand, so to speak, where you're doing that live demonstration, that's like 70% of it done. Then it's a negotiation of fees, etc.
For sure, because to even get to that position where people can understand you've got integrity, you've got to build that rapport to get into that position to even have a dedicated amount of time to do the presentation to them. Because if it's just cold calling people, well, you're not going to have that ability to really prove your integrity. So therefore the tactic there is to take a more approach where you're asking questions, not too close to the mark questions, but it's not like you're just going to meet someone or speaking to someone and hammering in their face. It's asking good quality questions that demonstrates your knowledge, and also gets the prospect to actually speak more. This is the key thing. It's a lot of people have said to me in the past, when we were out drinking, oh, you've got the gift of the gab, and I hate this sort of comment, because really, as a good salesman,
it's like you're a thief almost. When people say that, it's kind of.
But there could be other reasons for that, but we won't go into that. No, it's asking structured questions is not only a way to involve the prospect in the conversation, so you're not just speaking at them, but they're actually, if you ask the right questions, they're going to give you the answers or the pearls of what you need to use later to close the deal. So that's it. It's about questions is the most important thing. Open-ended but relevant questions. And obviously if it's a new prospect, you can't. What's your volume then? You can't go in like that. But structured, open-ended questions is really the key to this. To get to that point where you can show a bit of integrity and demonstrate you're knowledgeable. You're not just some sales guy trying to push something for the sake.
I think you're right though. The structured questions, although people may find it boring and like kind of working in a box, you'll get the let's say the intelligence you need. And you'll get the guy will respect you a lot more if you're asking pertinent questions and you're just to the point.
Exactly.
You can make you can make rapport, that cool, whatever, but he'll respect you more knowing he's dealing with someone who knows their stuff.
No, definitely. And to be honest, I don't think it is working in a box. I mean, if you're working off a sales script, that's a lot more boring, because the fact is you may have similar open-ended questions you're asking, but of course that person's then speaking and the conversation gets directed a different way. So actually I think it's more interesting that way, rather than just going in like a robot and reading your, if they say this, you say this. It's not only is that unnatural, but I think that's a lot more hard to go into the office each day and just take that approach. If you ask open questions, it becomes a natural thing, and also it's like you're having a conversation then, so it's still work, but it's a lot more natural approach, and like you say, it puts the prospect at ease because they're involved in it, and like you say, it's giving you the information of where you need to steer this conversation.
No, wait, networking events. Now, me personally, I'm not a particularly big. Well, it depends on what they are, but not a particularly big fan. All right, what's your thoughts?
Look, I think it's important to make your brand visible. Certainly, perhaps, if you're an up-and-coming brand, I think so. There's value there. I do believe that in certain industry events, it comes to a point where, well, all my competitors are going. So if I don't go, where does that? People might think, oh, are they struggling? So there's that. So there is an aspect there that perhaps people are sort of more coerced into doing it because of that. But the bottom line is, brand awareness is important, and I think even obviously we're in Cyprus, so we get, and as a business developer in Cyprus, I get the privilege of actually meeting a lot of brokers. But really, because our audience is global, a lot of the time we're on the phone. So at least with these networking events, you have that opportunity to actually have face-to-face conversations, which are so much easier to build rapport, and people can't escape from you as easily either. So I do see value there, but I do think also there's perhaps an element that people do it because they feel they have to. Perhaps maybe that's what I'm.
All right. So with B2B sales, like we said, a lot of it is just cold calling. Do you think there's any onus upon the brand to also carry some of the weight as well with like online advertising or expos or whatever?
Well, I think yes. I think it's a. Well, look, I mean, it's a team effort, isn't it, at the end of the day? So if we look at a company, you've got the sales guys, you've got the support guys, the tech guys, the bosses, and at the end of the day, we all need to carry our own weight. And So if it means the boss has to spend a few quid on marketing to help the sales guys, then that's his part, you know. And as long as the guys are doing the activity and getting out there, but it goes deeper than this. I mean, a real business development guy isn't just going to rely on just picking up the phone and cold calling. You know, it's in this. It can work, but it takes a lot of effort, and the strike rate's very low. So the key thing I would say is developing partnerships with other companies that sell services to the same clients, but of course don't conflict with yours. And this is what I've done quite successfully, and this is what we do with our teams and things, is to find these like-minded people. So for example, for our position, we're selling technology, we're selling aggregation, risk management. So to team up with people that are doing like CRM providers, liquidity providers, there's no conflict of interest, but if we can actually basically find decent quality partners that offer a good product, you know, we can perhaps then find a way to recommend their services into our clients, and likewise they would return the favour. So that's another aspect. So marketing, you do need to, there needs to be a bit of spend on the marketing. I think you still need to do some old-fashioned activity and pick up the phone and do your own network on LinkedIn and things like that. But also nurturing some key partnerships with quality providers of services that don't conflict with yours. I think these are the three key things to be focusing on as a B2B sales.
All right, mate, so final question. Okay, right. Let's just say it's the debonair Richard now, speaking to the young cavalier Richard when you first met him. Let's say you're 21 years old, all right? What tips would you give him, like, about psychology, your own personal psychology, about keeping your head straight, and action? Should we take an action?
It's a tough question, that, Paul, isn't it? I mean, a certain language I'd probably use to hammer the point home to myself, but as a youngster, but I wouldn't use that. I would say the main thing is, if things are going well, don't always expect it to continue like that. Don't relax on your laurels, sort of thing. You know, keep that activity. You know, even if you've had a fantastic quarter, a fantastic month, or whatever, keep ploughing in. You know, keep putting those prospects in. Don't become complacent, because it doesn't always last. And look what's happened with coronavirus. You know, we were lucky enough to do some business over this time, but of course, a lot of people have just stopped looking at anything. So, therefore, if say I was doing really well last year and I just took my foot off the gas because I didn't need to worry, then this would really be hurting me, you know. Whereas if you keep those prospects, that's the main thing, and just don't take it for granted, and maintain the integrity, really, you know, because I think certainly in an industry like ours now as well, reputations you know, go around a lot. So if you've got a product that's you believe in and then that does the job on the tin, you don't need to play games, you know, and then just treat your partners well. So but the main thing I'd say to myself is that, really, just don't take things for granted. Keep the effort up, even when things you're cashing in. You know?
It's a real good point, because I think that's where winners are made, who do it consistently. I mean, like, every person will have a great month, but it's about having a great year, having a great quarter, you know, like doing it day in, day out. Because I always lived in fear. There was always going to collapse around my ears.
So that sort of
it wasn't like
to you,
I wasn't about thinking, oh, this is going to be awesome at the end. It was just this anxiety of, like, this could all go horribly wrong very, very quickly. Keep pushing on.
I'm probably the opposite to that. I was like, I can do this, no problem, 2 days a week, you know, which is that young Richard needs a slap around the face for that kind of thinking, really. But we're here, and hopefully we've learned by those mistakes now.
All right, guys, well, look, you've had a good bit of content there from one of the industry leaders. Rich, could you do us a favour? Tell him about Centroid. It's worth just having a chat with him just to find out about how it really can improve your brokerage. So do you want to say your details, Rich?
Yeah, sure. So in short, Centroid are not just an everyday technology provider. There is many, many unique differences with the tools, the approach, the support that we offer. And of course, I can sit here and say all sorts of wonderful words, but if you want to find out how we are genuinely different, by all means go to our website, contact me directly on LinkedIn, and we can have a conversation, learn a bit about your business, and within 20 minutes I can show you some of the major key differences that we have against all the main competitors, which we strongly believe that will make a difference to your business. So it doesn't hurt to have a chat. That's what I was saying.
What's your email, mate?
r.bartlett@centroidSol.com.
All right, and also on this video, I'll be on LinkedIn, so if you contact Centroid, the Centroid link, or also Richard Bartlett's link as well, you can get hold of them there. All right, Rich, absolute blast.
Brilliant, thank you.
Cheers, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.